The ruling from Toronto is in and common sense prevails. Mayor Rob Ford continues as mayor, overcoming the witch hunt that would have had him ousted from office. For more on today's ruling, we turn to Toronto Sun columnist Joe Warmington. Now, Joe, you're not just a great journalist, columnist, commentator, but you are a seer. You're a prophet. You tweeted last night that this would happen.
Yeah, but I had a caveat on there in case it didn't, that, I didn't say it with great confidence, but I really thought that the judges would go this way because they understand what really was at stake here, which is democracy. We already had the G20 where it died for 24 hours, and this would have been right there in terms of the Hall of Fame or Hall of Shame for democracy. So they made the right decision, and, the whole thing was basically thrown out. And you know what? I think most people thought he was going down, but this guy was on the canvas almost, but he's getting back up.
So what kind of bang do you think he gets for this? I mean, he really has dodged a bullet here, and some people really gravitate towards someone when they do that. They go through the fire and they come out alive.
It's up to him to answer your question. It'll be up to him to make sure he's surrounded with people that are loyal to him and that have the agenda at heart. And he has to learn that the other members of council were elected, and even if he doesn't want to hang around with people that he considers pinkos and lefties and all that kind of stuff, the people that elected them do want them there, and you have to work with them. And so I suggest, and others have suggested to him, to look for their talents, keep your enemies closer than you've been keeping them. Do not lead with your chin, I mean, it's just all boxing analogies, but, if he does that, then he's going to be coming out of this with a kind of energy and almost a hot commodity. But if he laments about it and continues to act the way he had acted before, almost like a self-sabotage kind of thing, then he has trouble. And Charles, the last thing I'll say on this is that, on this question, is that he needs to remember, and so do his enemies, that the people of Toronto elected him to be there. They want him there. The next election is in October of 2014. So I don't want to hear about any campaigning until at least the summertime of next year.
Now, Joe, I think he has an important ally. I think any politician does when the economy is going in the right direction. And, looking at a lot of metrics these days in the run-up to this, it seems to me that the Toronto economy is revving relatively hot right now. Yeah, is that not helpful? Economic growth, tax revenues, et cetera, et cetera?
That's why the left chose this forum to try to take him out. Now, he helped them along. I mean, he did make a mistake, and he should not have voted on his own motion, and everybody knows that. Hopefully he's learned that lesson, but they can't take him out easily the normal way, so they tried to do it this way. And I got to tell you something. You've hit on something, as you always do, on your show here on Sun News Network and on your radio show, is to look at the actual fine print of what this story really is. Toronto is the hottest city in the world in terms of growth and construction in the middle of a worldwide recession. And there are issues, there are problems, but there are also great things happening here. And a lot of it is because of he and his policies. And it's not just stuff he's inherited. He is actually a very good mayor in many ways, many ways. And so, they were worried about it because they know that when you've got all these people moving downtown to these condos when they're all finished, these are not your socialists. These are people that have paid $400,000 to live downtown. They've got to go out and make the money to make those payments. And those are Rob Ford type voters, and the left know that.
Well, I root for the Toronto economy every day because when the Toronto economy does well, Canada does well. It's a very, very important part of the country. Just like some people don't like New York, but they root for the New York economy because it's important. And when the New York economy is revving very, very hot, it's a better deal for the United States. Well, Toronto is our New York, whether some people like it or not. This isn't a comment on political correctness, the culture of downtown Toronto. I don't have much time for that. But I look at things like, and I know some people find this boring, I look at building permits. And Toronto is off the charts right now. That bodes well for the future.
Yeah, the whole GTA is done well that way. But, at the end of the day, there are problems. There's gridlock, and there's a lot of, obviously things like that. In the GTA, we've had 2 children murdered this week. And so, there are real issues. And I wish they'd focus on those instead of trying to make fun of our mayor who was elected by the people. But, you know, again, I mean, he has to take some of the blame, and I hopefully he's learned that, because some of these people that are coming after him are also elected. I don't, as I said to some of the producers here today, Sun News Network, a good boxing match is not the one where somebody comes out and just dominates. It's good to have that yin and yang, and I think that I think that's healthy. But I think it's really bad when someone cheats and does low blows, and so all those analogies fit into this. It's time for them to stop acting like children and remember why they're there. I know we get so frustrated with it, but if they haven't got that message, I think, then they're never going to get it.
Joe, I have a hard time being optimistic about this. I have a hard time being optimistic that the losers in this battle will be anything but sore losers. I think they'll feel that they may have lost on a technicality, but that their principles are still high and mighty and lofty and important and impressive. And I think this will redouble their efforts to kick him in the pick a part of the body you want, the ankles.
There's no, I think you're probably right, but there's no tolerance for that or no appetite for that here in Toronto. I think that people are too busy here to worry about Rob Ford's woes or the people that want to hurt him and get at that money that he's kept locked up. That's what it's really about. If you take the $1 billion or so that's at stake, and there's different visions. I don't know. The electorate decides what's right. Here in Ontario, as you know, and you've had on your show many times, we've had this nightmare of 9 years of Dalton McGuinty as premier, but nothing ever happens about it. There's billions of dollars that are gone, and everyone knows that. And here we're talking about a guy that raised $3,000 for football charity, and we go to the brink with it. I know they're different. I know there's nuances to it, but at the end of the day, that's what it is. And the public, although busy and trying to survive, they know what's right and they know what's fair.
Joe Warmington, thank you so much.
Good job. Thank you.
And great prophecy. He said it last night.
I'm going to go buy a lottery ticket now.
Rob Ford would win.